back to my channel. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Usually here on my channel I do like full glam makeup tutorials, like the whole shebang with false lashes, and the reality is on a daily basis I work 9 to 5. Just like 99% of you guys, I have a full-time job outside of YouTube. I work 9 to 5. I go to the gym in the morning before work, and I have like 45 minutes to get ready, including my hair, shower, taking care of the dogs, doing my makeup. It's just a lot of stuff to do in about 45 minutes. Sometimes I can push it to an hour, but for the most part, I have like a really set morning routine, and I don't have time to do the full glam makeup. I wish I did. I would love to wear makeup like that every single day. Like, I just love the process of putting makeup on. I love the way it looks. I love to feel just very, you know, glammed up, but I don't have time to do that. So today I thought I'd show you what my daily makeup routine is, I guess is what I'm gonna call this. Daily makeup routine, not morning makeup routine, but yeah, I'm just gonna say daily makeup routine. This is what I do every day, Monday through Friday when I go to work. Usually on the weekends, if I'm not filming and I'm going out, I will do this makeup. If I'm not filming and I'm staying home, I won't wear makeup. But yeah, does that sound good? All right, let's get started. First things first, lip balm. I almost always am wearing a lip balm when I get ready. And then primer. So even on my fast days, I always prime my face. I will say my morning makeup routine probably takes about 10 minutes. It's probably gonna take me a little bit longer in this video just because I'm like chatting through it and talking you guys through the steps. But when I'm in a zone and I got like a YouTube video playing in the background and I have, you know, my morning routine set out, it takes me about 10 minutes to do all of this. Sometimes a little bit more if I add a little bit more spice to it. But I always still prime my face. So the No Pore Blum by Touch in Soul has been my go-to primer lately. I think usually during my beauty tutorials, makeup tutorials with you guys, I'm like, oh, I use 5 different primers a day, which, you know, when I'm filming and when I do the full glam, yeah, sometimes I do use 5 primers, but on a daily basis, I don't have time, so I just use one. I do find that I still, you know, like the way my makeup looks with a primer. It lasts longer, so I don't ever skip the primer. And then I also always prime my eyelids. I even prime my eyelids when I'm not wearing eyeshadow. I usually just put this doe foot applicator right on my eyes, but I'm going to put it on my fingers today and then wipe it on my eyes just because I've had a lot of eye irritation lately and I'm not sure if it's something that I want to get in the tube, you know what I mean? So I just rub it right on my eyes, and I do this even when I'm not wearing eyeshadow just because I always put something on my eyelids, whether it's a concealer or foundation or something like that, and I don't want it to crease because it'll still crease even if it's not an eyeshadow. So that is all the priming that I do. Next I'll move on to my face makeup, and if I'm using a liquid foundation I will do that and then concealer. But on a daily basis, I actually use powder foundations. I said that really weird, actually. I use powder foundations on a daily basis just because I find that it is much, much faster for me. I find that it's a little bit more flexible, like it doesn't have to be precise and perfect. It can be a little bit patchy and you can't really notice with a powder foundation. So when I use a powder foundation, I will conceal first. So I'm gonna do concealer next. This has been my go-to concealer on a daily basis. It's the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. I use the color Vanilla. This is kind of like a refound favorite. I bought this like a long time ago. In fact, it is way expired. Like, I definitely need to get rid of this. There's no dates on the bottom. I think you're supposed to get rid of it after 6 months. Sometimes it'll tell you, but this one doesn't. Anyways, I bought it like 2 years ago and I used it a couple times and I was like, and I put it in my drawer and I didn't really touch it. Oh no, I think I just broke. Okay, yep, I just broke it. I'm like scraping the tube right now, guys, because it is pretty dang close to being gone. So I've been a little bit too rough apparently. Anyways, I pulled it out a little while ago and kind of rediscovered my love for this concealer. I forget how full coverage it is for being so lightweight and creamy. I wouldn't say it's radiant or like dewy, but it is definitely lightweight and creamy. So usually I just conceal my under eyes, but sometimes if I'm feeling like I have a little bit of extra time, I'll do a little stripe down my nose just for a little bit of extra coverage, my chin and my forehead, but usually it's just my under eyes. And then I go in with a beauty blender. I do still take the time every morning to wash my beauty blender and get it wet. It is something that I haven't been able to kind of cut out of my routine. Sometimes I'll use the beauty blender dry, but most of the time I still take a minute or two every morning to go and wet my beauty blender and kind of clean out the previous day's makeup and get it all nice and fresh and clean. So sometimes I do that like when I'm brushing my teeth, just depends. So yeah, I will blend this out. And then I set my under eyes almost immediately, because if I don't, pretty much any concealer that I use will start to crease almost immediately. So I've been using this Kandee Johnson and Too Faced Banana Pudding Powder. It has a little bit of a yellow tint to it. You can use it with a beauty blender if you want like kind of a more heavy coverage, I guess. Or if you want to go in with just like a light dusting of it, I use a brush. And I try not to do too much because there is a little bit of a yellow undertone. So I'm just going to set pretty much all the concealer that I put on. Just real quick there. And then next is my foundation. So there's two powder foundations that I go back and forth between. One of them was recently discontinued, so sad day. It was the Too Faced Cocoa Powder Foundation. I love that foundation so much, you guys, and I think Too Faced discontinued it because I can't find it on websites anymore, and now they have it at like Marshall's, and I can't ever seem to find my color, so sad day. That's okay. I love this one equally, maybe a little bit more than the Too Faced one. It's the Kat Von D Lock-It Powder Foundation. I use the color Light 44. It's like the second or third lightest cool toned powder color. I know for sure there's one lighter cool tone, there might be two. But anyways, Light 44 is what I use, and here's what it looks like. I have hit major pan on this. In fact, there's just a slight ring around the outside that's left. This is like the third or fourth one of these that I've gone through. There is a mirror on the underside and a sponge, but I don't ever use the sponge. I probably should take them out and keep them because who knows when I will need them someday in my life. And then there's a mirror on the top as well. So I'll go in with a dense blend. I'm getting so tongue-tied today. I will go in with a dense all-over face powder brush. This one is discontinued, and I hate bringing it up in videos, but it truly is the brush that I use every single day. So with that said, there's a couple of Morphe dupes that I can recommend. I'll link in the description box down below. And occasionally this will pop up on the Sephora website, or if you happen to have it in your collection and maybe you forgot about it, but it's not part of the typical Sephora Pro brush line anymore. I don't know why they discontinued it. But basically any dense powder brush works for the purpose of this. It has to be dense, and the reason, oh my goodness, I hope I'm not getting sick. Allergies. I think it's allergies that's messing with my eyes and my, anyways. It has to be a dense blending brush because you really want to pack on the powder and get like a thick layer of powder. At least I do, because I like it to be a little bit more full coverage. If you use a fluffy, not as dense brush, then you're not going to get as full coverage of a look, if that makes sense. So the Lock-It Powder Foundation is a full coverage matte powder, but again, if you mix up your brushes, you'll get a different look. So I like really dense brushes. I don't think I ever told you what this is. It's a Sephora Pro All Over Powder Brush number 61. I love it so much. So I'm going to go ahead and just, I wouldn't usually like dig into my powder and get a whole bunch on my brush like this, but I'm really trying to like scrape the edges of this. I don't want any of it to go to waste. Usually it's just like a pat, but it's, you know. So anyways, I will get this and then kind of buff it in. I usually start with this cheek. I have no idea why. It's just what I do, I guess, because I'm left-handed and that's my left cheek, and it's kind of just what makes sense to me, but I will buff it in and just make sure that I kind of brush it over to my ears, down my neck, my chin. I will also close my mouth like this and buff it around my mouth. With powder foundations, again, you could be a little bit more messy, but I don't like there to be an obvious line of where I missed it, you know? And then I will go over my eyes one more time to kind of neutralize any concealer or any of the yellow powders. And that's honestly it. And you can see how kind of full coverage that is. I mean, luckily my skin is agreeing with me today and I don't have a ton of breakouts or discoloration. But yeah, you can see how full coverage that is. Next up for me is eyebrows, and quite honestly, this is the part of my morning routine that takes me the absolute longest. It probably takes me about 5 minutes to do just my eyebrows. I know. And the thing is, I can't not do my eyebrows. Like, I used to never fill in my eyebrows, and looking back at those photographs, I mean, could you imagine? I have to fill in my eyebrows. If I'm wearing makeup, I'm going to do my brows, you know what I mean? So I kind of rotate different products in and out of my brow routine, but if I'm doing something super quick, I will use something like the Too Faced Chocolate Brownie pencil, where it's one of those like kind of triangular tips where it's like starts as a tip and then kind of gets a little bit fatter, and I'll just quickly brush in my brows. Honestly, I'm never in that much of a hurry. I always find it necessary to kind of touch it up a little bit more than that. But if I need to like run out the door, then that's kind of what I will do. Also, Benefit has the Goof Proof Brow Pencil that works well. Hourglass has a really good kind of triangular shaped tip. So just a couple of my favorites. So I usually have one of those in my routine. I will also have a like pointed tip brow, a small, teeny tiny precise brow. Right now I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz, but I also really like the Benefit Precisely My Brow. CoverGirl surprisingly has a really good one that just came out. I say surprisingly because I'm not usually impressed with drugstore brow pencils. So Dior has a really good one. So there's just a few that I kind of pop in and out of my routine, but right now it's the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color Taupe. Anastasia also has a triangular shaped one, the Brow Definer, which is really good. And then on days when I want a little bit more or I have a little bit more time to get ready, I will incorporate the Benefit Ka-Brow. The reason why I can't use just this is because I basically have no brows. This is a pomade. It is like a kind of a waxy pomade, and I use that to kind of ombre out to the front part of my brow, but to fill in my entire brow with this, I don't know if I've quite mastered that technique yet, or if it's just not realistic to do that with somebody like me who essentially has to draw on their entire brow. I'm not really too sure yet, but I will always start out by outlining my brows with the Precise Brow. So this is the Brow Wiz again. So I'm going to brush through my brows really quickly. And then I outline it with the Precise Brow. And then once it's outlined, I will use that same pencil to kind of fill in the tail of my brow. And I do this because usually the Precise pencil that I use is darker. It's the darker of the products that I use. And I like my tail to be just a bit darker than the rest of my eyebrow. So it's not for like it's not a functional reason, it's more of a color aesthetic reason, I guess. But I don't know. I just kind of mix it up. So I fill in the brow, or the tail of the brow, and then I'll go in with either the triangular tipped pencil or the Benefit Ka-Brow, just whatever I have time for, and I'll fill in the rest of the brow really quickly with that. And I say really quickly because this product has a fatter body, and so you can cover more space more quickly, if that makes sense. And I don't have to sit there like I did with the Precise tip and like ding 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 ding, you know what I mean? Which looks more natural but takes more time. So it's a time thing. Next thing I do is eyes, eyeshadow, eye area. And usually I will just grab into my shadow drawer and pull out a palette. I try to lean towards neutrals during the week just because I'm going to work. And I don't want anything too crazy when I'm going to work. Recently, I've been loving the Tarte Man-Eater palette. I believe this is volume 2. It doesn't say on the package, but it is the reformulated one or the redesigned one where they added a matte black, which a lot of people like to use for liner. This one is kind of like the perfect all-in-one palette. I heard about this from Tiffany D. She was like raving about it, Makeup by Tiffany D. So I decided to pick it up and I'm super, super glad I did. I feel like it's, you know, it's small. This is the perfect like grab and go palette. You could throw it in your purse, you can take it on vacation, and this is the only palette you would need. Like, it's one of those really nice palettes. You have a whole bunch of matte colors to pick from. You have some transition colors, you have some deepening colors, you have some all over lid colors, you have your matte cream color. Like, you pretty much have it all in this palette. So I see why she was raving about it. So first I'll start with a big fluffy blender brush, and I'll take this cream color and just put it all over my eyes. I do this to kind of set everything that I had put on my eyes previously, so concealers, foundations, primers, you know, and then I just kind of messily plop it on there to get everything started. Next, I'll move into a crease color, and again, I'm doing this really quickly during my work day, just because I don't have a whole lot of time. So I'll grab a slightly, you know, fluffy-ish type of brush, and I'll lean towards one of these two colors usually if I'm using this palette. So Passion is a little bit lighter, and then Purr is a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go for Purr in the middle. It is a matte color. These do have a little bit of kickback. I'm honestly not a huge fan of Tarte eyeshadows. I've tried a lot of their palettes, and the thing is, when I first use them, I fall in love. And then I kind of fall out of love with them. So I'm trying to really give this one a chance, and I've had it for about a month and a half now, and I've consistently used it, you know, at least a couple of times a week, and I haven't fallen out of love with it yet. So I think that's a good sign. I had that problem with like the Tarteist palette. I didn't even buy the Tarteist in Bloom because I just, at that point, I already knew I wasn't, you know, I wasn't a fan of Tarte shadows. They're so pretty and they appeal to me so much. So I used to buy like pretty much every single Tarte palette that came out. So they had like some limited edition ones. They had like a purpley one. I bought one off of QVC. They had the Graveyard Girl palette, the Rainforest of the Sea palette, which was in that like circular thing. I will say I do really like the glitter, what is it? The rainbow one? The unicorn one with the glitters in it, because I feel like that's kind of like, I just use it for special occasions because it's pretty much an entire glitter palette. So I do really like that one, but I don't know, tangent there. I have been loving this one for almost 2 months now, consistently, which is a good thing. So anyways, I just kind of plop a color into the crease, and then I'll go in with an all over lid color. And with this palette particularly, I've been using either Foxy or Lace. So they're very similar, but Foxy is a little bit deeper, Lace is a little bit lighter. So it just kind of depends on what color I'm going for. I'm gonna use Lace today, which is the lighter one. And I just plop that on my lid. Again, I'm not like super precise. I'm usually in a hurry. By the time I get to my eyes, it's usually when I'm like, okay, I need to hurry things up because I've now spent 5 minutes on just my eyebrows, you know what I mean? So I just kind of pop it in there, and then I'll go back in to, I usually reach to Purr for this purpose, but I'll use like a darker color than I used to begin with, or the exact same color that I used to begin with in my crease, and get a little bit more and just kind of focus it a little bit more on the outside right here, and slightly drag it into the crease to blend everything out. So that's usually where I'll stop. For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna just kind of fix things up a little bit because I do plan on filming some more videos today. So I'm just gonna kind of touch things up a little bit and put some on my lower lash line. I do usually do this for work. I'll put something on my lower lash line. So yeah, that's it. And that was what, 3 colors, the cream color, an all over lid color, and a crease color. So I'm gonna spice this up just a little bit more for the purpose of me filming today, but on a daily basis, this is where I stop. Okay, next up is eyeliner, and I much prefer a pencil liner. I don't like liquid liner. I know, who am I, right? I just haven't quite mastered the technique of liquid liner, and I can't do it quickly, so pencil liner is my comfort zone. I love the, oh my god, why am I getting so tongue-tied today? Ardency in Modster pencil in the color Coffee. I've talked about this pencil probably like 50 times here on my channel. It's just my favorite. I love the color. It's a deep, dark chocolate brown. If you're somebody who is trying to step away from black liner, I used to be a black liner lover. All I used was black liner. If you're somebody who's trying to kind of step away from that and you want, you know, like a transition into brown, this is perfect because it's almost black, but it's brown, you know what I mean? And it's matte. So I really like it. It's also really creamy, so it blends really easily. So what I do is I line my upper lash line and my lower waterline, and then I go in with a smudge brush, and this is like my, I don't want to call it a secret weapon because it's not a secret, but anytime I wear pencil liner, I have to smudge it out. Otherwise, I feel like it looks really messy and really harsh. So I kind of sneak peeked this a little bit in my CoverGirl video because I used the same technique then, but I smudged out my pencil liner since I started doing makeup. I used to use Q-tips, and then I discovered a smudge brush, and I was like, what is this magical thing? So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and line. I try to get as close to the lashes as I possibly can. You could be a little bit messy with this because we are going to go and smudge it out after. So once you have it on there, just go in with the smudge brush and kind of smudge it. I don't want to say I do a cat eye because I definitely don't, but I try to smudge up this way as opposed to droopy and down. It just kind of brings a little bit of lift to my eyes. And then for the lower lash line, I will try to put it like right on my actual lashes. See how this just like glides on? And then I will go in with the smudge brush and just kind of smudge out the corner right here and connect it to the top. Really, really quick. Okay, for lashes, I definitely do not have time to wear falsies. During the week, it takes me probably, it's a toss-up between brows and lashes, which takes me longer. Probably lashes, just because brows I do every day, and so I've kind of mastered my brows. It still takes me a while. But lashes, I just cannot seem to master lashes. It's one of the hardest things in makeup to master. I don't know why that is, but it really is. So I use mascara on a daily basis, but the thing is, when I'm not using falsies, I have to curl my lashes. So this is like a necessity when I'm not wearing falsies, because otherwise my lashes, I think most people's lashes just go straight out, and you can't really see the mascara or your lashes unless you're looking from the side, but like straight on you can't really see unless they're curled up. So I rotate between mascaras. I don't really have a super duper favorite. Right now I'm using Bad Gal from Benefit, but I love Roller Lash. I love Too Faced Better Than Sex. I have some drugstore ones I like. I honestly don't have like a holy grail, you know, must-have mascara. So I'll go in with 2 coats of mascara on my upper lashes and then 1 coat on my lower lashes. Okay, next step is my cheeks, and this is my favorite part of my makeup routine. Like, hands down, I think that doing your cheeks makes so much of a difference. Most recently, I've had like really itchy eyes, so I've been skipping the eye makeup, but I always still do my cheeks. It's just my favorite part. So for bronzer, I'm using the Too Faced Sweetie Pie bronzer. I've talked to you guys a little bit about this before. I'm about to hit pan. There's a huge, huge dip in this bronzer. I don't know what it is about this bronzer. Maybe it's the undertone. I don't know what it is. So I will get a big fluffy bronzer brush. This is the Tom Ford brush. It's really expensive, but it's really, really good. And I will just kind of quickly, focusing mostly back here and kind of up to my ear, put it on my cheeks and my hairline. The people who live above us, the Stompers, as some of you have heard me refer to them before, have a dog, and they've had this dog for a while. It's a husky. It's the cutest little dog. But it is moaning right now. Like, I don't know if they locked it in their room or what, but it is like howling and I cannot concentrate. So if you guys hear like a ooh, ooh, it's the Stomper's dog. I will also usually drag my bronzer kind of down to my like décolleté and my neck as well, just to make sure everything it's kind of seamless and matches. So yeah, so that's bronzer. See how much of a difference bronzer makes? Like, it is crazy. And this one is just so like natural and light. I love it. So for blush, I just grab a blush. My go-to blush, you guys already know, is the Tarte Exposed blush, but I mix it up. Usually I'll open my blush drawer and just kind of like eeny, meeny, miny, grab one, you know what I mean? So today I grabbed Coralista by Benefit. I'm just feeling a little bit corally today. And then sometimes I skip the highlights, sometimes I wear it. Most of the time I wear it. I very rarely skip anything. But this is my go-to daily highlighter. It's the Smashbox and Casey Holmes Pearl Palette. There's some other kind of subtle highlighters that I like to use every day, but I'm going to the office. I don't want like a blinding blingy highlight. I want something that's office appropriate, and this is perfect for daily wear. It's also really good for like soft glam looks. Like, I'm wearing this on my wedding day, so it's got to be a good one, right? So usually I will dip into either this color or this color. It just kind of depends. Oops, did I look? That one, the lightest one or the middle one. Or I'll just kind of dip into both of them, which is what I'm going to do today. And I will just quickly highlight. And even on quick days, I still set my makeup, especially if I'm wearing a powder foundation. I feel like setting it with a setting spray kind of like melts it all into your face and makes it look less powdery. So this is the Urban Decay All Nighter. Final step is lips, and if I'm being honest, 9 times out of 10 I do this in the car on my way to work, but today I'm gonna do it here. And usually it'll be like a quick gloss or like a cream sheen lipstick from MAC, something that's easy to do in the car. But today I'm actually gonna use the Huda Liquid Matte Lipstick in the color Muse, and I also have the Huda liner in the color Trophy Wife. But I think, let me swatch these really quick. I think this might go better. Yeah, so Muse has like a teeny bit of a cooler undertone. So it might go better with, nope, I'm gonna use the Huda liner. I was gonna say the By Beauty lip pencil in the number 22, but that has more of like a peachy undertone. So I'm gonna use Trophy Wife to line my lips and then Muse to fill it in. This is just a little bit darker than I had in mind, so I'm gonna go on top of it with Swag from Bare Minerals. Okay guys, so here is the finished look, and I know it seems like a lot of steps for a daily basis, but for one, keep in mind I am a beauty guru. I love my makeup. It's really hard for me to cut out steps. I do occasionally, but it's really hard for me. Like, I'm one of those people who would prefer to be late than to cut out steps in my morning routine, if that makes sense. I know that's probably not a very good mentality, but if you're somebody who's just trying to get into makeup, maybe incorporate one of these things at a time. Like, incorporate eyeliner for a week, see if you like it, see, you know, or until you master it, and then incorporate a highlighter, and you get really, really, really quick at these types of things. I've even thought about like setting up my camera the night before and actually sitting down and like filming my real life, real time morning routine with you guys. The thing is, if I did that, I would not be able to talk. I would have to like do either a voiceover or do it to music because like I said, I only have 45 minutes to get ready. And when I start talking, things get long. So I don't know, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. It's something I can do if you would want to do it, if you'd want to see it. So anyways, that is it. This is my daily makeup routine. And I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be the last tutorial that I film for a while. I'm starting to take my 6-week break for my wedding. But never fear, there will still be videos going up for the next couple of weeks. So there's only going to be about a week, maybe 2 weeks, where I don't have videos. Just keep in mind, that's because I'm getting married and I'm so excited. I keep thinking I'm getting lipstick on my teeth, but I'm not. Anyways, I can go on and on, so I'm just going to stop. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.